bottle of red, perhaps a bottle of rosé instead. Get a table near the street in our old familiar place, you and I, face to face. Bottle of red, bottle of white. It all depends upon your appetite. I'll meet you anytime you want in our Italian restaurant. Well, hey everybody. First time playing that song in a really long time. So tonight we are, welcome back to the show, Julie's Wine of the Week. We are featuring Casati's Modern Italian Restaurant, hence the theme here. I know you're catching on. I don't know about you, but that song reminds me of when I was a little girl. My brother Mike, who's usually on the show, making comments, always played that song, and I just loved it. And it was a really romantic start. Bottle of red, bottle of white. I could just picture myself as an adult on a date and, you know, some fancy Italian restaurant. And then the rock and roll part kicks in. You know what I'm talking about. You know, Brenda and Jenny, you know. So I don't know. The song is a mystery, but it is a great one. And so anyway, I would just like to say welcome. And here are some scenes from our Italian restaurant. Today we have a special guest on the show, Stefano Casati from Casati's Modern Italian Restaurant in Chicago in Lincoln Park, right at Fullerton and Clark. So please help me welcome Stefano Casati to the show. Yay!
Hey, hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful. It's a beautiful moment of this great life. Yes. Perfect.
Absolutely. And you look wonderful.
Thank you. You're a good liar. You're a good job. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, okay.
A splash of color, a nice suit coat, 2 great bottles of wine. It's a perfect picture.
Yeah, thank you.
I just see a comment from my brother Mike, who lives in Michigan, who's the one I was just talking about about the Italian restaurant song. And he says, "Hi, Julie, we're watching in Michigan. Best Billy Joel song ever." So cheers, Mike. Thanks for joining. Well, Stefano, you know, you've been in Chicago for a while. I can hear a little accent. So
Really?
just a wee bit. Of course, yeah. Hence the Italian. Where in Italy are you from?
So I'm from Florence. Like my family is there, I think, since 10 generation more or less. And, you know, my origin is from Milan, from the 11th century. There is all this long history that I really don't know. And I know a few of Casati's family moved to France, a little bit of Casati moved to Tuscany. But I live in Florence all my entire life. You know, in Italy, you grow, eat and die in the same place with the same family. Everybody lives in the same location. Nobody's moved. So I just moved here like 7 years ago, more or less. And I survived. I love to say I survived 6 winters. That is how I count the time here in Chicago, you know. Like during summer, everything spring, autumn is beautiful. And after winter is coming. So I survived 6 winter and married a beautiful American woman. Long story, short story, and this was here in Chicago. We met in Florence. We were living in Florence for 1 year, and after moved here, and after a while we, you know, get married. And long story, crazy story. Where now we have a beautiful child, 2 years old, that make me what I say, very, very busy during this COVID-19 for me. It's like a full-time job. I really want to go back to work. Everybody's asking me.
This is a beautiful picture of your wife.
Thank you.
And you. So yeah. Yes, and I know you are busy with with your child, and it's got to be hard right now doing both.
Yeah, especially when you live so close, going outside. But you know what? Good bottle of wine and go to sleep at 9 p.m. is perfect for me. Yeah,
That's right.
right now we are doing 4 to 9 p.m. every night, curbside pickup and delivery, where the people just order on our website or other, they can pick up, call in, and everything. So I go back very, very early home. And I'm glad every night me and my wife would sit down in the kitchen, we open a good bottle of wine, and we talk about the day.
That's how it should be. I see Gina Pisano, our
Yeah,
colleague and friend, just logged on and says hello. So thank you, Gina, for joining.
yeah. I delivered dinner to Gina tonight. Yeah.
You did.
Yeah, I sure do. Also, a painful Max. Yeah, I'm going to drink it all with you guys. I said, great, Gina. Let's see. Yeah.
Gina, cheers. Well, do you have a glass with you, Stefano?
Just a small one.
Oh, good.
I really think if it doesn't fit one entire bottle in one glass, because the way to say you should just have one glass of wine, just fill it up all, so there is no problem.
I agree with that. And let's pour out ourselves a little wine.
Salute.
Everybody at home, I know some people do have the Panaxa's Chardonnay, which is the wine that we're talking about today here, which is exactly how I met Stefano. Thank you, Gina. And that we tasted this wine when we first met. So it's apropos that we're having it today and that you are the show. So to everybody out there, cheers. You can open your bottle, start drinking, drink along with us.
Yeah. And if you allow me to say, there was a lot of like Italian that they say, oh, the wine needs to have a cork. If there is no cork, it's not an expensive wine. It's totally with white wine. It's totally, you're the expert. I'm just a drinker in front of you. But like, no, with wine, this kind of cork are the best because they preserve 100% the quality of the white wine. Instead for a red wine, sometimes cork is better. Do you agree, Julie? Tell me if I'm wrong.
I do. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. It's a Stelvin enclosure. It's not your old screw cap like we used to see back in the 70s. That didn't really preserve the wine. It was actually formulated by Mr. Stelvin. And so it does preserve the wine. And it's also great because it's, easy to open. You don't have to go find a wine key. And I used to think it was so, I didn't want to lose the romance of the cork and opening a bottle, saving the cork. But now I really look forward to bottles of wine that have Stelvin enclosures. It does not affect the integrity of the wine. And there are some beautiful luxury white wines that are enclosed in the same way. So thank you for bringing that up.
There was in Italy, there's 7 years ago, 8 years ago, this very, very expensive wine, and they just changed from cork to this kind of twist. And I remember there was a long letter, and the Italians start, to freak out and then say, yes, no, this is impossible to accept. Great Italian wine like this one needs to be on cork. But the producer just say, no, if you want to have the best quality, you have to do in this way. This is exactly, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I think people are getting more and more used to it. And I think Italy, France probably would have been the hardest to turn over that train of thought. But I think, it's growing on everybody all over the world. So yes, I definitely love it. So what made you get into the restaurant wine industry in your life?
So I have to say, in Italy, when you grow up, is about tradition. So I don't know how many times I was like in my kitchen with my mother, my father, and or my grandmother, like, you know, doing food, cooking food, and you know, also tasting different items. And cooking for us is so simple. So it's connect with territory, with tradition, and everything in Italy. And especially if you think about food is simplicity, you know, it's something that was a little bit lost in translate here in the United States when the first, like, you know, in the 1910, when the first immigrant came. And you know, right now I can have the fresh tomato imported from Italy, and you know, in cans and everything, I have the same quality profile. Uh, you know, at that time there was no all these like way to, you know, bring food freshness and everything and conserve the food in the right way. So I grew up. I was going out. I love restaurant. And one of my father best friends, Piero, that just died last year, unfortunately. A very sad story. So let's skip this story.
Positive.
It was one I went during the summer also when I was 15 years old to visit him. I spent like 1 month, and he owns like a couple of restaurants. He used to own a couple of restaurants in Palm Desert, California. So that was my first step. And after I go back, I always love cooking. I love, you know, I was like a passion guy for food. So when I came here in the United States, what, you know, I didn't speak English at all, and so it was easy for me this transition in the food industry. And you know, I get a restaurant in California, and everything started, and I study how Italian food was, how the people here in the United States thinks about Italian food, and I wasn't ready. I went to work for a restaurant here in Chicago, and you know, I'm very respectful, and I say I need to learn what the people are looking for. And during this transition, I start to have a conversation about the, you know, the authentic Italian food, what is like fresh, light and healthy, we say here, Kazahis. So I really think like if you translate this one, everything like 20 years ago, there was no space, but today I start to see all these healthy concepts coming up.
Yeah,
So
sure.
I say maybe people are going to appreciate quality food, but like fresh, light, and healthy. This was my concept behind like authentic food, like we do in Italy. In fact, I don't know if I tell you like my friends, American friends, start to tell me like, "Oh, are you going to an Italian dinner tonight?" And they told me yes, but it's a very heavy food. I say heavy food is no, Italian food is it's fresh. It's like you it's not heavy absolutely. If you take an ossobuco, or if you just, you know, there is heavy plates, but technically Italian food should be very light. So
That's true. And I think when people do go to Italy, they realize that the food is very different in Italy than it is here. And I had that experience when I was there, and it was awesome, you know, just to see the very simple but delicious meals that, you know, you pancetta and linguine and basil, and just a ton. It's a few sprigs of basil and some, you know, everything is very different than you would think in Italy compared to the American fare. And so I'm excited that you brought this concept here. Fresh, light, and healthy is kind of the way that things are going. I think people are getting healthier, and I see so many people. I just want to say hello to Jeff Anderson, Mika Wakefield. So many people are popping in and saying hello. And I have to say, today I actually went to pick up my order for this evening, and I think there's a picture of you and I.
yeah,
Social distancing somewhere around there, Carl, if you've got it handy. So this is right now in the restaurant, full of wine bottles, of course, and booze. But yes, the point is, when we were talking about what to pair with our wine, so many great options. And we talked about the fact that, yes, if you're going to go on a date, you don't want to be tired afterward. You want to have some energy, right?
It depends. Who's your date, right?
I guess
Sometimes you just want the check, please. Like,
if you want to get rid of them, no, I'm just kidding.
no, but like Kazat is like, it's, I have to say, here in Lincoln Park, we are, we are considered like a very nice restaurant, and our prices are like very competitive for the quality of food and service that we give. So I saw so many dates here, and it's incredible. And I'm so happy because the people feel like that is the right spot to go. And when you see dates, you say a lot of days are going very well, a lot of days are going so and so, and lots of days and you just stop by the table and say, "How's everything?" And you see and sometimes you see the guy smiling a lot, and the girl like fake smile, like, "Oh, bring me the check," and you
Well,
see
if she's paying the bill, I think that's already, I mean.
Yeah, like another way, like in Italy, like there is always the guy. There is no option. Like what we do.
Do you hear that, people out there, men out there? Chivalry is not dead. And so, maybe pick up a tab every now and again, just saying.
Yeah, that's nice. Why pay a little bit of attention to, like, it's like it's very nice. Like dating in Italy is like, normally we do aperitivo, so we drinking wine and after work. So everybody's asking me how is life in Italy. You work 8 hours. I want to say this one because my wife said that we have 2 hours, like how do you say, break between for lunch.
Lunch
But
and
you
dinner.
work 4 hours, 2 hours break, and you work another 4 hours. And after you go straight to a bar and you start to eat, and small bites, and they give you small bites for free, and you drink wine. And wine is very, very important for us. Like,
Yeah.
Italy is like, we love wines. It's what there is better
And
than
it goes
wine.
with food. So you're always eating and drinking. Which brings me to the wine that we are actually drinking this. So tonight we have the Penfolds Max's Chardonnay. And we chose this. There's so many really beautiful dishes at Casati's that go great with this wine. And on top of it, some great news. We just heard today that the patios in Chicago are opening, and Casati's has a beautiful, huge patio outside with great lighting. And it's right from the lakefront, so right off of Lincoln Park, a great location. So I have a feeling that I'm going to be drinking a lot of this wine on your patio. So let's talk a little bit about it. So Penfolds, of course, on my show, you've heard me talk about it, established in 1844, a huge legacy of really fine wine. And this wine is actually named after the winemaker Max Schubert, who put Grange on the map, and also the winemaking trials of all the bin wines at Penfolds. So, and it's expanding the white portfolio with Penfolds. We don't offer many whites, but the whites that we do are really elegant, worth drinking. So this is actually from Adelaide Hills. We're going to look at the color. So Stefano, you have your glass there. We usually do a little component tasting, and you just, if you have a white piece of paper out there, the public, just take a look at it. Oh, I see my Aunt Pam and popping in from California. She's a great love of white wine. It has just a really pale straw. And then also just a little bit of green around the edges, which means it's a young wine. So can give it a swirl. And you want to go ahead and coat the sides of the glass as best you can to get the wine, the best aromatics out of the wine glass. And then tell us what you get on the nose. Stefano, do you have any?
Yeah, no, yeah, but I'm terrible describing wine. I'm sorry. I just behind me all red. Like my English, like you hear, is not the best.
Your English is amazing. For 7 years ago, you didn't speak English. You have amazing English.
My wife, she's fluent in Italian, and like when I say fluent, we go out and people say, "Are you Italian? Where are you from?" From Italy. And she said, "No, I'm from originally from New York," and but like this is a like Chardonnay, like
It's very, there's on the nose, I get a lot of stone fruit, like nectarine, honeydew, melon. And then, there's a description actually. These wines, all have tasting notes, the winemakers, so that you can learn about the wines. And in this one, he talks about nougat. And I don't know how much you know about nougat, but it's sugar, honey, nuts. And when I smell wine, I do get a lot of that. So, does anybody else? Let's see what we've got here for comments. Just all kinds of great things. Hi, Jen.
Yeah.
Here's my question to you, Stefano. Nougat or Bavarois, which is like a creamy dessert. I love panna cotta.
Yeah.
When I was in Italy, I had the most amazing panna cotta, and I have never had it in Chicago. That's been comparable. I take that back. One place, Gaetano de Benedetto, Gaetano's in Forest Park.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I know him.
Amazing panna cotta.
Yeah.
But it's very hard to find.
Yeah, no, like we do panna cotta here. Like it's another like component. If you want to do panna cotta, is one of the easiest dishes to do. But like to do, what makes the difference? The ingredients. I really think like quality of ingredients making the difference. Like it's a very hard concept to. I really feel right now, like also here in Chicago, people thinking about quality. I prefer to eat less but more quality. They eat quantity over quality, and it's very important. It's absolutely important, and it's the basic of like a good diet, a good life. Quality of ingredients, and I'm trying to buy everything like local if I cannot source like from Italy. I'm trying, to because local, the farmer, the guy, the quality, the what there is inside. You taste them, and
Absolutely, and it makes a difference. You see how the Italians always look great, right? We could be that too.
Sometimes.
Gina making a comment here. She says this wine drinks more like a French Burgundy or a Chablis than a typical Australian Chardonnay. It's true, and you can even get into that a little bit because there's really not. It's not over oaked. This is very on the palate. And then let's continue. If you want to take a sip, everybody. It is a really soft and delicate mouthfeel. And you get that acid, you get that lime, citrus, and it really, I just think it's really enticing, and it makes your mouth water. You get some lemon zest and things like that. Not over oaked, and a very different profile than you would be getting from a Chardonnay. Everybody thinks Chardonnays are just these oaky oak bombs, depending on where they're from.
Yeah, and it looks like normally I taste some like Chardonnay. They're like, I think I tasted more than 10,000 bottle of wines right now. And I have to say, sometimes people think that if it's oaky, it's a great Chardonnay. Instead right now they add like some entry level wine, very bad company, then like taste profile like how do you say, wood inside, so to give that taste, but it's not a natural taste. So it's going back to yourself, that is going back to your body, and your body is going to say, oh, you're tricking me. Yeah, you let me taste something I think is great, and after your body feel it, and the next day you wake up like in the middle of, like, I don't know, a war, like you think that something happened the night before. uh, but I want to specify, like, to be a Chardonnay, it's very important. I think it's from the region. What we say about wine, the wine describe you a story about the place, about people, about passion, about 1 year. If you think every wine is made in specific year, collect, and after, you do the wine and you age the wine and everything, but it's a very romantic story that every year can tell a different story. and
Absolutely.
and that's the beautiful wine right now, is like we're speaking about, like we were speaking before about South Australia. i
Sure.
i never, I never went there, but I know that I taste this beautiful wine, and I can taste there was something. We were speaking before, close to the ocean, and
Yeah.
and it's unbelievable, if you think you're tasting something that was done like far away in the middle of, like, a new continent and everything. And this is why bring a totally different profile taste to be a Chardonnay. um
And you make a good point, because we were talking about Southeast Australia, where this wine is made, and it's in the Adelaide Hills region, which has some elevation, but it also is really close to the sea. So you said you picked up on that sea spray and that salt, and you can. So it is a romantic. Every vintage is different. The weather is different. This vintage had a really mild, dry summer, and they had more rain in the fall than they normally did. But the wine is a really great vintage, and every year it's different. So let's talk a little bit about food pairing, and the
yes.
now. I know today, we were there, Chef Z,
Pilon.
doing
Chef
all
Pilon.
kinds of stuff. So we would have showed you a picture of Chef Tilon, but next time you'll have to go to the patio and meet him soon. But for today, I actually couldn't make a decision, and I have a really funny story. I was talking first about I was asking about his recipes and what's special about casatis, and he said, "Well, the pizza di pizza." And,
Pizza.
and so here it is. I got the avocado pizza di pizza.
Wow.
This actually is the only place in Chicago where you can get this special pizza. And we were talking about what sets you apart. Fresh, light, healthy food. And so pizza di pizza is something I'd never heard of. Stefano, would you give us a
Yeah.
description of what this is?
So when I opened the restaurant, I was trying to find something that can, represent Kazakhis. Um, and so there is this guy, is a Roman guy, and DeMarco is his name, last name, and he was selling a long time ago fat, because instead you use olive oil like in the 60s, 70s, we use fat to do pizza in Italy. And after, we know that fat was dangerous, was unhealthy, and so we switched with olive oil. And he got married with a beautiful Italian woman that she was a dietist, and she started to tell him, "Oh, you need to change job." And he said, "Why?" Because I'm trying to save people, or you're killing people with fat. And the very question is why he was changing job instead of her. But, like, never fight with your wife. So okay, so he said, "Okay, I'm going to change job because just you asked me." And in his life, it was like, we call him in Italy like a natural chemical guy. So his parents was like chemical people, like they were going out in the nature and they would say, okay, this is sulfur, this is this, if you mix this together. So he has this very open mind about nature, about ingredients and everything. And he found an ancient recipe about Roman Empire about 3,000 years ago, about this special flat bread, let me say, was pinza. I know at that time you don't you just mix all the flour together and it came out pinza. So you say, okay, I'm going to rediscover this ancient recipe. And so after many years, he figured out this flour. This flour is a mix of three different flour. Is rice, soy, and wheat flour. So rice flour has totally different characteristic of the other flour. So mixed together, it gives something fantastic. Is 80% is water, 3 days of levitation. So we keep these 3 days before stretch, and it's 70% less carbs and gluten, and 90% less fat of regular pizza. This dough is unbelievable. And they normally don't tell to customer because they look at me like, okay, it's going to be healthy. Okay, it's going to taste like very bad, let me say. And instead, everybody's eating it, and after say, "Oh, you taste pizza? How is it? What is pizza? It was just a very good pizza. I love it." No, this was pizza. I'm trying to let them know that there is a
There's a
very
difference.
yeah.
Pinza is different than pizza, and it's Pinsa.
Correct.
And it's funny, I have a funny story. So I picked up my takeout today, and I thought I was going to do my girlfriend Mika, who's watching right now. I was going to drop off a pinza for her and a bottle of Chardonnay. And I did, and I didn't even think about it. But in my mind, I kept thinking, I should really check the bag. This feels really light. And then whatever, gave her stuff. We parted ways, and I'm driving home, and I was hungry, and I thought, I'm just going to open up the pizza and grab a piece on my drive home. And I opened it up, and it was just the pizza dough because Stefano didn't want it to get soggy. So he put the ingredients in separately so that when I came home, I could put them on there, and I didn't even. I basically gave Mika a box of just the pizza dough, and I laughed so hard when I realized what I did. So anyway, I have extra on mine. So Mika, don't worry, I'll get you back next week. But at least you got a bottle of wine out of it.
Good one.
So look forward to that. When you're talking about decreasing the amounts of wheat and gluten, I don't think it's a bad thing, and it's not free. It is just a combination of different types of flour, so lessened. Which I learned something today. That was amazing. The other appetizer that I did get, and I love when this show is over because I eat all this stuff all night long, is the burrata. So this I'm going to actually crack open right now. A real true burrata. You know it is because it is really moist on the inside, over a bed of arugula, and I can't avoid it, but I'm going to have to take a bite.
How does it taste? No, and you know what? I have to add, for the Chardonnay, this kind of Chardonnay tastes better if you eat something with. I really feel like the biggest and I really feel the biggest misunderstanding about wine is that you can drink every wine by themselves. It's not true. Yeah, there is great wine. You need to eat with something, or they're not tasting the same way. I really feel like this profile taste, the fruitiness and everything, is wonderful. But you need to eat something so your mouth is refreshing, and the next bite tastes fresh again.
And so is the next sip of that wine. And
exactly.
The wine cleanses your palate, and it gets you ready for your next bite. Is great if you love to eat and drink, because then
It's the way to do it. Like, and this was like, you know, a huge problem for me when I came to the United States, where I was going to the restaurant. I was sitting down in the restaurant, the server was coming up. Hi, welcome to blah blah blah. Okay, what do you want to drink? I say, I just arrived, so I would like to check the food. And yes, but what do you want to drink? I say, I cannot decide what I want to drink if I cannot decide what I want to eat. And all the server was looking at me like it was from another world. I say, no, it's essential that for in Italy, like you decide first what you want to eat, and after you combine the wine. 95% of the time, or sometimes you say, oh, I saw this incredible wine, I want to pair something that go with this wine. But it's very very important that you understand why you drink this wine and you just empty stomach without nothing, and you just, oh, it's acidic. No, it's not acidic, it's not minerality, how you want to call it. It's a sort, this is the wine how it's made, so you can have an incredible meal.
And you can balance it with food, which is exactly why food and wine are a great pairing together.
Yes.
I see we have Courtney Treadwell saying hello. I bet you wish you had some of this food here too. But I would like to say two thanks for everybody piping in. We are also on YouTube too. So we're streaming on YouTube. But this is the dish that I first had when I first came for dinner to Casati's, which was so much fun. It was a Friday night, and this was back in, I don't know, January, December. It was in the winter. This is the Scott's Capellacci, which is homemade lobster ravioli with a shrimp ragu, fennel lobster broth. It's absolutely delicious. That is what it looks like. But pairs really beautifully with this Chardonnay because of also, again, Stefano, we talk about, you know, the different elements. And here we have this creamy texture. And I'll let you talk about it as I have a bite.
Yes. So, like, I really feel like this is a handmade lobster ravioli. And Scott is my father-in-law, so he loves lobster ravioli. So when I opened the restaurant, he told me, just do something. Just do me the best lobster ravioli in the city.
I wondered where the Scott came from. So
and I did it. I think I did it because it's number one sales. And you know, I really feel it's combined with like Chardonnay because like the lobster, first of all, is a very rich, fatty, let me say, flavor, but it's still very very delicate. So for do these dishes, we take all the lobster, we do this broth that Dylan. I speak like I'm doing all this stuff. I don't do nothing. I just tell chef is doing everything. So and they cook in this broth for hours and hours. So they do the reduction from the lobster, and this is the secret. The broth, like they give this extra taste of lobster, because sometimes with the handmade pasta is very good, and the inside of it's very good, but like the broth, sometimes you don't eat with with your mouth. Sometimes you eat with your nose, and it's a very important characteristic of food. Like it's not sometimes about the taste. Like if you think about like tonight I brought like the truffle pinza. This is a half portion. Yes, this is a half portion because I'm unfortunately my wife put me in a diet. I don't know why, but like,
she put you on a diet.
no, I'm in a diet. Like technically, I'm not doing it, but don't tell her. Okay.
You have to exercise, Stefano. That's all.
I'm exercising a lot. Look.
Me too. Let me join you. Let's do some curls.
Like for truffle, if you think about truffle, there is no profile taste in truffle. If you just put your truffle in your mouth, and you tap your nose, there is no taste. It's a flat. There is no taste. Instead, it's all about perfume.
It is all about the aroma with truffle.
Yes, absolutely.
So good.
Sorry.
What else is on the truffle pizza?
So it's also sun-dried tomatoes. and like cipollina herbs. And this is a half portion. There's also I get for you tonight.
Oh, that's what I should have ordered. I mean, I love what I got, but originally you said the linguine with clam sauce, which is my favorite. I love it. My mom makes a great linguine with clams. And then I saw the Scott's cappellacci, and I was like, oh, I have the ravioli. So
Yeah,
there are
that's very
choices.
yeah.
Let's talk about the linguine.
So the linguine is better than me. It's all simple. It's like right now it was cooked like a few minutes ago, but like is linguine pasta with clams with a base of white sauce, like is base of like wine sauce. So we use a lot of wine when we cook in Italy because it's a characteristic that gives some extra taste. And when you cook with wine, everything, all the alcohol is going to evaporate as soon as you touch the pots. But but also here is that parsley is very important because give you extra perfume, and the claims are very 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 important.
That looks delicious.
Yes.
Yeah, Fulgaro just joined the group. Hi. Thanks for joining us. We have some sommeliers, just lovely, lovely people visiting us today. And I just want to say thank you for Stefano for joining us. What kind of things do you have on the books besides your patio opening? Do you have any planning for the next couple weeks?
Oh yeah. So patio opening is like it's people like you have to reconcept all the restaurant because yes, nice job.
So that's actually the top of the stairs. And then if you look behind me where that other guy is with the mask, the
Yeah,
patio
almost
is
there.
even below there. Yes?
Yeah, right now is like working a lot. We're going to have a new summer menu that's coming out. Me and chef we're working on it. It's going to bring new flavor taste, new profile taste, and everything. It's very good. We need to finalize it, so I don't want to say anything. But everything is going to be fresh and live in our concept. Right now we are going through a lot of renovation about everything because you have to think about where this like situation you have to have everything. If somebody touch it, you have throw it away or you have to clean it. Like the menu right now we're speaking. Right now we are speaking about technology that as soon you walk in inside the restaurant, they screen the temperature of the guest, and that they see if they have fever. You just approach them, say, "I'm sorry, sir, you cannot stay here. You have fever." And there is this like new company that I'm studying. There is a new company that is studying, and just when you arrive, you don't have any more your menu. You just scan with your like cell phone a QR code, and they just send you the menu.
Yeah.
Something like this one. It's
Right.
right now security. Like you don't have any more. All the dishes needs to be covered for me, in my opinion. But this is not mandatory. There is a lot that you think like restaurateur, like person that work in this industry to make 100% safe the experience. And I think we will do it, and the characteristic of this plate is very big place, and I'm glad that sometimes I'm glad, and this is one of the situation. So I have so much space, and another characteristic is like there is windows everywhere. You saw it, and
Right.
our bar has these big windows that are opening, so it looks like it's like sort of garage door, but more elegant for me. And all the restaurant on the other side holds windows, so just open all the windows. We are trying to
Yeah. You're
fresh air for everyone. It's sort of like a lot that we're thinking about how make the experience 100% a nice experience. Um, there is a lot to do, and during this time everybody's thinking, oh, what should I do, what I shouldn't do.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I know you, I know your restaurant, and I know how meticulous you are. So I know, I mean,
Yeah.
that. But when you walk into the restaurant, there is a hand sanitizer right there at the front. And
Yeah.
Basically, Stefano requires you to walk in and do your hands. So, we do this and looking forward to sitting on your patio and along with everybody. Please join me when the patio does open. Stefano is great. You know what he looks like, and his wife Melanie too. So be sure to stop in there and have some lovely food that's fresh, healthy, and light. I do have to say, I'm excited because I did a wine dinner last week with Gay Haas Cafe and out because it apparently, well, Chicago's a very small place for as large as it is, and it's a small world in general. But I had mentioned that I was doing something with you, and Darla and Jeff Lawler from Gay Haas said, "Oh my gosh, we love Stefano Melanie." So yes, I know they're going to be on the show next week. So
I'm going to watch it.
Yeah.
I didn't tell you a funny story. Sometimes during this time, I also do delivery. I bring food, and I'm happy to do it. So I get this order, and I say, Jeff. So I went to this building, and the guy told me, "Oh, you can just drop the food." I said, "No, we prefer, to wait." So I brought the food, and I saw him. I said, "I didn't know it was you." And he told me, "Oh yes, we ordered it from you many, many times." I said, "Oh, thank you so much, and thank you for your support and everything." And I'm a small family-owned restaurant. Like him has a beautiful restaurant since long time. He's doing an incredible job. And my wife loves to go there, especially when you have time. Like date night, there is a very special date night. It's a beautiful place, Fondue is unbelievable, and he's a very, very nice guy.
Well, they love you and Melanie too. So I say we make a date, and I know everybody's busy, but when your patio opens, I say, Darla, Jeff, you and Melanie, I'll pop in just because we should definitely all have some sort of reunion. And yeah.
Let's go on the patio together on Friday. I already have like 20 people calling me just to do reservation. Is unbelievable. I don't know how. It's people that say I want just to go out. I have a person say I have a birthday for like 20 people. Can you accommodate us? I say I don't know the regulation yet, but I don't think so.
I'm not sure. Right.
I'm not sure. And this is why the problem right now is like this situation that you don't know where you're going.
It's better to have, just to know. And we're going to slowly open up, but it is nice to know that there are places to go that have people taking very good care of the restaurant, the food handling, their guests, etc. So I want to say a huge thank you for being on the show. Your food is amazing. You are great people, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Don't leave. Go into the green room. There's drinks and
can I eat during the green room or not?
Yeah, you can eat whatever you want in the green room, and I'll see you after. Everybody, cheers. I just wanted to say again, thank you for joining us again for another week of Julie's Wine of the Week, which we are slowly morphing into Julie's Restaurant and Wine of the Week. Next week, we will be featuring Jeff and Darla Lawler from Gay Haas Cafe. So many of you know Gay Haas Cafe is very famous in Chicago. It's been around for 50 years. It's touted as the most romantic restaurant in Chicago. It is a fondue restaurant, and we have a lot of really cool stuff on the horizon with them. And we'll be tasting the Bin 51 Riesling Penfolds, which is very hard to find. So cheers to all of you. And until next time, a bottle of red, a bottle of white, and that's my cue. Bottle of white, bottle of red, perhaps a bottle of rosé instead. at a table near the street, in our old familiar place, you and I, face to face. Bottle of red, bottle of white, it all depends upon your appetite. I meet you anytime you want in our Italian restaurant. See you next week, everybody.